Hello and welcome to a new video. Instead of going out for some landscape photography today, I want to try something a little bit different. I want to show you guys how I created one of my trick shots. For this I shared two trick shot photos I made earlier on my Instagram stories and asked people to vote which one I should recreate in today's video. So first one was this shot of me shooting playing cards at the camera. And the second one was this shot where a friend of mine is floating a lighter above his hand. Now, most votes went to the one with the playing cards. So today I'm going out to recreate that shot. I'm going to take you through all the steps from choosing the location, setting everything up, all the way to the final edit. Now let's grab the stuff we're gonna need today and head out to look for a suitable location. Let's go! Okay, I made my way to the old town center. I think I'll be able to find a suitable location here for the photo. There's lots of small streets and tight alleyways here that could work perfectly for this. I mean, yeah, look at this. Looks perfect, right? Let me set everything up real quick and then I'll take you through what I did and why I did it. First off, what did I look for in terms of location? I want all the focus to go to the person and the cards that are in the frame. So a place with little to no distractions. Here all you really see are walls, the ground and the sky. So that's perfect. The second thing is lines. They help bring the attention of the viewer where I want it to be in the image. I have lines leading from the edges of the frame into the center, which will guide the viewer to the cards and the person shooting them. The same lines also add depth to the photo. Shooting it in front of a straight wall would also be free of distractions, but it wouldn't have the same depth to the image as it has now, which really makes a big difference. With the location dialed in, the next thing to work on are the cards. I want one card perfectly in focus for this shot, and the best way to do that is to fix it in place. Now you can pick any card you like. I chose the Joker card, but any card will work fine. Now there's tons of ways to fix the card in place, but my preferred way is to use a thick steel wire, just tape it to the back of the card and then stick it into the ground wherever I want it to be. Now that it's done, I want to set up the camera for the shot. I want a shallow depth of field and I want to freeze the movement of the cards when they fly through the air. To achieve this, first I'm gonna set my aperture. For this lens, the wide open aperture is f4, so that's what I'm gonna choose. Then I set the shutter speed to where I have a proper exposure. I want to be at least 1/200th of a second to freeze the movement of the cards in the shot. If I need to, I'll just up the ISO until I reach that shutter speed. Now all that's left to do is to set focus to the fixed card, and then the camera is all set up. The next step is to have someone in the frame shooting cards at the camera and take a burst shot of photos. I suggest doing this several times, so when you go to edit, you'll have the option to pick and choose where you want the cards to be in the frame. Okay, enough talk for now. Let's get the photos. Now, if like me, you're doing this photo by yourself, I'll share with you my hack to shoot a burst photo with yourself in the frame. I use the auto exposure bracket that you can find in your camera's menu. Set it to a 5 or 7 bracket, smallest increments possible. Set the timer to 10 seconds, fire off the shutter and just walk into frame. The camera will now take 5 to 7 shots for you. Just make sure your shutter speed for the slowest shot doesn't drop under 1/200th of a second for the best results. With all this done, it's time to pack up, head back home and edit the photo. See you guys there! The first thing we want to do is pick the photos we want to use for our final image. Once we've gone through all our photos and selected the ones we want to use, select all of them, go to Settings and click on Match Total Exposures. This way Lightroom will balance any exposure differences there are between the images. This will help blend them together better in Photoshop. So now that we've done that, we're gonna right click with all the photos selected and go to Edit In and select Open as Layers in Photoshop. Depending on your computer, this might take a little while. So when you get into Photoshop, it will look something like this. Now the first thing I like to do is just disable all the layers. And I'm just gonna go through every photo one at a time to pick which one is going to be my main picture for the edits. So I'm gonna pick this one. So I'm gonna move this one down so it becomes the bottom layer. Now we're gonna add things from different layers to create our final image. So the first step I want to take is to get rid of the wire that you see in here. So we're going to enable the layer on top, which is our clean image. With that layer selected, we're going to add a mask, choose our brush tool. Now we're going to use Ctrl-I to invert the layer. This way I can see what I want to get rid of. Now I'm just going to paint over the wire to make it disappear from the shots. Now you can go in and go into great detail here, the best results. If you paint away a bit too much, just hit X to switch brushes and you can add things back in that you masked out. So this will be fine. Zoom out again. Now maybe I want to get rid of those little patches of light as well. So again, I'll choose the brush and we can just paint out that light. So it no longer distracts. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to add some cards to the right of the image and to the left. Those are the most important ones. Okay, so we're gonna leave that on. Then we're gonna again add a mask. Ctrl-I to invert the mask, and then with a white brush we can paint in some of the cards that we want to add to this photo. Let's see, so we have a couple there, a couple on this side. Add this card in as well. And this way it's looking good. Next layer is just gonna be a repeat. So I will fast forward through them and come back to you when all the layers are done. So after going through all the layers and masking out all the things I didn't want, I got this final image. I just simply close the image, save edits before closing, and it will save everything as one image and load it back into Lightroom. So with the image back in Lightroom, we're just gonna start the basic edits. The first thing I want to do is just click auto for the auto exposure. I also like to use the clicker for the white balance, and I'm just gonna click on the card that was white. In this case I think I want it a little bit cooler, so I'm just gonna slide the temperature a little bit more to the cool side. I think I like this a little bit more. Okay. Usually like to add a little bit more contrast to the image, to images like this, so I want the card to really pop. I also like to add some clarity. Okay, It's looking okay. Maybe do a little bit more vibrance. And this is just all personal choices. Just do whatever you think looks good. Just slide around the sliders, see what happens. Keep what you like, or just undo what you didn't like. Now, one of the things I also like to do is go into the color calibration and shift the colors a little bit over there, like this. Okay. Now, one of the more important things I want to talk about for this photo is how I want to put more focus on the cards and then on throwing the cards instead of having all the focus going to this light wall. I'm just gonna choose a radial filter, draw one on top of the cards, something like this. Then I'm gonna add light, add a little bit more contrast, add some whites, some blacks, because those will help define the card more. I'm also going to boost the clarity a little bit more on the cards. A little dehaze maybe, let's see. Yeah, I think I like it like this. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, really liking how this looks. Now let's add a second radial filter, this time a little bit bigger one. Because now we're going to want to put a little bit more focus on the card and then on the cards and the person throwing them. And I am going to use this, which is an invert. Now, as you can see, the mask is going to affect everything outside. I'm going to drop the exposure like this. Maybe a little bit of warmer tones, decrease a little bit of clarity there. Add in a little bit of haze from the light. Okay, now I want to move this a little bit down because I don't want it to affect the card. It seems okay. Now we can also use the range masks to limit the effects in certain areas. So I'm gonna limit the effect it gives to the shadows because then it will get extremely dark and I don't want that. And I'm also going to take a little bit of the effect out of the highlights, so you'll see the card is less affected and also the sun that is bursting through at the top. Okay, so it's done. And just to show you, toggle this on and off, and then you'll see a massive difference with the attention being more pulled into the cards. Now I'm gonna head over to the color wheels, do a little bit of coloring of the highlights, because I like those to be a little bit more to the orange side, give a little bit more warmth to the sun that was bursting through. And then the shadows, I want a little bit of the opposite side of the color wheel in there just to have some added color contrast in the image. And then to balance it out, I'll add a little bit of yellowish orange to the midtones. And then if I toggle this on and off, you'll see a difference that it makes. So I'm liking this. Okay, now I'm just gonna go in here because I do want to decrease the saturation of some of the yellows, maybe a little bit the greens in the background, the oranges, let's see, just move them a little bit to the red just to make the wall pop a little bit more. I'm gonna crop this for Instagram. Crop it to a 4:5 ratio, and I want about the center of this Joker card to be on the lower third, and then about the center of the person in the background on the higher third. So I think this will be fine. Yeah, I'm liking this. I also want to add a little bit of a vignette to pull the attention into that Joker card into the middle. Now I don't like to push it because if you go real far it's a real obvious effect, so I like to stay around something like 10 to 15. I think 15 will work for this shot, and I'm just gonna mess around a little bit with the settings take it a little bit more into the middle, increase the roundness and the feather so it transitions a little bit more nicely. And I'm also gonna slide up the highlight slider so it doesn't affect the highlights as much. And then to see what you did with the vignette, it's best to look at the little thumbnail on the left. When you toggle it on and off, it's a lot more obvious to see what you did and if you didn't overdo. But I'm liking this. So all I want to do now is I want to go back into Photoshop with this one because there's a little spot on the Joker card that I want to remove, and I don't really like the spot healing in Lightroom. I just like to do Ctrl J to duplicate the layer, so I always have the original layer saved in the background. And then I'm gonna press J for a spot removal tool. Just click on the spot, like magic, it's gone. It just works perfectly almost every time. Now looking at the image, I might want to remove the little leaf here in the bottom because it's kind of distracting me. Paint over that with the spot removal brush as well, and it's gone. Now one of the things I also like to do when I have pictures that I blended like this one is to use color LUT, and by putting this over the entire image, I'm just gonna see which one I like best. I kind of like this one. Bring down the opacity to about 35%, adds that little bit to the image, I think. So I'm liking it like this. So again, we brought the image back to Lightroom. Now I'm just gonna do some final tweaks and then it's ready to be posted on Instagram. I think I do want this image to be just a little bit warmer. The whites got a little bit too blue, like this, and maybe play around with the shadows a little bit more. I kind of like it like this. So here we go, the final image. So that's all for today. If you go out to try this yourself, be sure to post your photos on Instagram and tag me in the results. I would love to see them. Hope you all enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one. Out for some landscape photography, I'm going to show you, I wanted to show you about